Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about why you should buy points in 2025. And I'll tell you what, this is the perfect time of the year to do it. We're planning out our travel for 2025 and beyond. And we are really taking a look at this. A lot of the hotel brands are doing point sales right now, so we're going to tell you which ones are great and that you should be taking advantage of as soon as possible before these sales go away. Guys, we're going to have links in the description to all of these because it is sometimes a little bit challenging trying to find the sales. You would think they would make it easy for you to figure out where the sales are, but we've got the links for you down in the description, make it really easy for you when you decide which ones you want to do. We've actually already booked 180 nights on points for 2025. That's kind of crazy, but we're going to start out with one that we actually don't talk about a lot and haven't used a lot in the past, but this point sale that they're doing is very enticing, and
that's Wyndham.
The Wyndham.
Yeah, Wyndham. We never talk about Wyndham. I'm not sure we've ever talked about Wyndham on this channel, but we are going all in on Wyndham in 2025 for a few very key reasons. One is this point sale they're running right now, good until December 31st. You sign in to your account there, and you'll get either a 35, 40, or 45% points bonus. If you get the highest bonus, the points will cost you 0.715 cents per point. Now, Wyndham does their points a little bit differently. Instead of dynamic pricing, they've got really just 3-point prices. So most of the hotels are going to either cost 7,500 points or 15,000 points per night, and that equates to either $54 or $108 per night, which is great, but we got to see what can you get for that, right?
Yes. How far do these points go?
So we've been doing some research and thinking, well, this is pretty good pricing, but what can we get? And what you can get is actually stunning and staggering. It kind of set us back. That's why we're leading with Wyndham. Give you the best deals first. Let's just pull up the one we're looking at, which is the Wyndham Garden Cam Ranh Resort in Vietnam. Now, what really drew us to Wyndham was there's a little bit of a quirk that they have compared to all the other chains, where most of the time when you get a hotel on points, they're just going to give you the lowest base room, so like the worst room they have. But at Wyndham, on a lot of the hotels, they'll let you pick any room, like even suites. So that's where this really becomes a really good deal, and especially good at the Wyndham Garden Cam Ranh Resort, because they actually have villas with pools. So you can see when you log in here, you're able to get this one-bedroom villa at this beautiful resort for 15,000 points. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll also see that you can get a 3-bedroom beachfront private pool villa for 15,000 points a night in the summer. That's $108. That's like a no-brainer.
Mind blown. When you showed me that, I was like, no, that's not right. And then I tried it on my phone too, because I was like, there's got to be something wrong with yours, because that can't be right. I looked at it, same thing. So it is really wild to think that you could book any of the rooms for whatever the point value is for that hotel.
Yeah, and especially when you're doing villas, they almost always exclude that kind of stuff. So moving on from that amazing one, there's other great deals we're looking at. We're going to Japan later in the year. One of the places we've always wanted to go is Sapporo, right?
That's right. We've wanted to go in that northernmost island, and Sapporo is still at the very top of the list of the places we have yet to visit in Japan. And so this is an incredible, very enticing deal. So in Japan, we've talked about the differences of the rooms there. You'll sometimes get either the option for a king or queen bed, although more queens than kings, which is fine. It's still a little bit bigger bed, but those rooms tend to be a little bit on the smaller side, even with just the one bed in it. But we did find the trick, which we've talked about in other videos here on the channel, of getting 2 twin beds and having more space. Those rooms tend to be a little bit bigger than the rooms with just the one queen bed. So that's why when we talk about rooms in Japan and we show you those, is because a lot of times we're booking rooms that have 2 beds instead of 1, because you are going to get a little bit more space. If you've been to Japan, you know it's a tight squeeze in the hotels, no matter how swanky they are. Unless you're getting upgraded to suites, you're generally going to have a fairly tight space in these rooms. So let's talk about Sapporo here.
And those twin room beds are more expensive also. So that's kind of the rub there. But if you're using this points trick, the twin room and the queen beds are going to come out the same price, 7,500 points per night, which is $54. Compare that to the cash rate for the twin room, that's $89. So $89 if you pay cash, $54 if you use points. That's really a no-brainer. I mean, I think we may end up going there. I want to see some baseball games up there. It's a pretty big discount to use the points. Basically, with Wyndham, the price they're selling these points at, you should not be paying cash rates for these hotels in basically any circumstance. So you can buy up to 200,000 points per person. So we could buy 400,000 points. That would get you a lot of nights at that 3-bedroom oceanfront, beachfront villa. Like, I still can't. That's just amazing.
Yeah, and the thing is that because we're not, working towards status, and because you can get any of the rooms that you want, it doesn't matter with having status to get an upgrade, because you can just get the room that you want. If you want that 3-bedroom villa, you get the 3-bedroom villa. You don't have to, hope that they'll upgrade you to one. You can just book it. So that's why it's okay if there's 2 of you, if each of you gets the full 200,000, and just kind of keep those in your back pocket, really, because they will come into play. If you do this full time, you travel full time, or you travel a lot even, you don't even have to do it full time, you will put those points to use.
Yeah, there's Wyndhams everywhere, so you're going to use those. Next one is a stalwart for us, which is going to be IHG. We talk about this all the time. If you haven't bought your IHG points yet, do it now. This sale ends December 13th. Log in today, buy your points. The limit has been raised to 300,000 points per person. And if you have the IHG credit card, the way this works is you get a 4th night free every time you use points. So you book in blocks of 4 and you're going to get an incredible deal. You will almost never see a cash rate that is lower than a points rate if you're using the IHG credit card and you're booking in groups of 4 nights. But the main question we get on this one is, well, you always show Asia. Does this work in the U.S.? And so we're going to do a couple of U.S. examples here, even though it works everywhere. So we were just in Seattle, beautiful city, super expensive. But looking at the Kimpton Hotel, Seattle, March 2nd through the 6th, you can follow along in your app if you want. Looking at those dates, because we have the IHG credit card, and this is booking in groups of 4, 18,000 points per night, which the IHG points are generally on sale. The best price you can get them for is a half a cent per point. So that would make this $90 worth of points. And the key point here is that is a refundable rate. When you book with points, it's always refundable. So $90 worth of points, and it's refundable. The cash rate at that hotel is $154 a night. But once you actually click through and I'm actually going to book this, they add on so many fees and taxes, it's actually $181 per night, and it's a non-refundable rate. So $181 non-refundable with cash, $90 refundable with points. This is an absolute no-brainer. This is the way it always works out with IHG.
Yeah, and that's one of the big things is a lot of people are always like, oh, you guys buy points. I heard it wasn't good to buy points. Let me tell you, it's an absolute no-brainer, especially when they're on sale like this and you're getting a deal. Stock up on them, because that reason alone is huge right there. The fact that when you do with the points, there's nothing else added on. It's just whatever it said the points were. If it's 18,000 points, it's 18,000 points, not 18,000 points plus another 2,000 for tax or anything like that. That's it. You walk in there and you pay Nothing. The only thing they put on your card is the incidental fee, which is wild. Every time we walk in, they're always like, "Oh, your room is already set with points. We just need to, do your incidentals." That's it, and it just goes back on your card, obviously, if you don't cause any trouble. But the fact that you can switch your dates, you can cancel them, and it's refundable, not a problem, as long as you're, within a day or two. It usually tells you how much time you have, but usually you can cancel up until, on most of them, like 24 hours, sometimes 48. Just make sure you check that. But it's great to be able to have that flexibility without concerning yourself with losing out on money or having to call or anything like that. Super duper easy right in your app.
Yeah, and I can't stress enough, we've booked 180 nights already for next year. Every single night is with points. We have not booked a single cash rate night because in every single instance, we looked it up every time, the points rate, if you buy the points right now, this is the time of year to do it because it's December. All the points are on sale. Stock up on the points. Book your whole year out. You'll save a ton of money. But let's move on to Hyatt. Hyatt has a sale going right now, and basically you get 25% bonus on your Hyatt points, and that is going to make them 1.92 cents per point. Hyatt points are more expensive. They're also more valuable. So we're going to give you just another example. Hyatt is one where some of the time it will basically be a little bit of a good deal, and then sometimes it'll be an amazing deal. In both cases, it's probably still worth it, but sometimes you'll save a ton of money. So we just typed in, as an example, where we use a lot of Hyatt points in Japan, for January 5th to the 7th, 2026, not 2025, if you're following along, because these...
Too late for 2025.
Japan, you got to book out a year in advance. So we're looking at 2026 for Japan. Put those dates in, come up with the Hyatt Regency Tokyo and the Hyatt House Shibuya Tokyo, where we're going to be staying next year. And those are available for 12,000 points per night. You can see, so if you buy the points at 1.92 cents, that's going to equate to $230 per night for these rooms, which, is expensive, but for Tokyo, pretty good. But when you look at the cash rate, that's where it really gets interesting, because the Hyatt Regency is 37,000 yen. That equates to $244 a night. So you're really saving $14 a night, which, is $14 a night. So that's still a good deal. But when you look at the Hyatt House, that is 72,000 yen per night, which is $475 per night. Now you're saving $245 per night by buying the points. So again, in both cases, you did better with the points. But sometimes you'll do really well with the points.
Yeah, that's just wild. And we do tend to stay more at the Hyatt House over the Hyatt Regency when we're in Tokyo. Just because it's nice to have that little, mini kitchen area and stuff like that to be able to do a little bit of cooking here and there. So we do tend to lean more into the Hyatt House. For anyone who's thinking, well, who would stay at the Hyatt House? We do. All the time. Especially in Japan. It just makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that Hyatt House is expensive for a reason, because it's bigger rooms. But the points, you can see, are the same. So that's an opportunity there for you to make a good deal. So Hyatt, there's good deals all over the world. You just have to figure out where you're going, how much it would cost with cash, how much it would cost with points. Again, most of the time, it's going to be better with the points. Moving on to Marriott, kind of the same story. A lot of people say don't buy Marriott points because they're expensive, and we do buy Marriott points because if we're going to be staying in a Marriott, there are certain places where we really do want to stay at a Marriott, and the points are going to be cheaper than the cash rate. Again, just don't pay cash rate on these U.S. branded hotels. You are losing money every time you do it. So Marriott right now, the sale goes through December 23rd. You can buy their points at 0.86 cents per point. And another hotel we're going to stay at next year, the Courtyard Siam Reap Resort in Cambodia. I just pulled up October 6th to the 11th. The cash price for this, for 5 nights, $672 total. Now with Marriott, if you book with points, you get your 5th night free. Kind of like IHG, you get your 4th night free. Marriott, you get your 5th night free, Don't even have to have a credit card for that. That's almost always going to make the points a better deal. So as you can see, the points is 46,000 points for the 5 nights, which at that sale rate comes down to $395 for the 5 nights. So $395 with the points, $672 cash rate. It's a no-brainer if you're going to be staying at these places to buy the Marriott points.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense, and it's one of the reasons why we booked that particular resort for our stay here in a few months. Is it was such a great deal, and we looked at maybe just paying for it, and it was just, this was a no-brainer when we did the quick math, the points versus the actual dollars. It made the most sense to just go ahead and buy it. Again, some of these sales will be up, you know, this month. So if you're seeing this video after December and you're like, I think I want to buy some points, still click the link down in the description, because they do sales all the time. And if you miss this one, you never know, there could be another one right after it, which they do a lot. And a lot of times they just extend these sales by another week or two. So don't be afraid to hit that, you know, click that link and look and see what you're offered, because you may even get something even better. Who knows?
Exactly. So then we've got Hilton. Now, we don't talk a lot about Hilton on this channel, because generally we can find better hotels for less points. But there are certain areas where Hilton is the best deal. We just don't go to those areas that often ourselves, so we don't talk about them that much. For instance, if we were going to be going to Fiji, which we're not going to Fiji this year, I don't think. Maybe that'll change.
Who knows?
You can buy Hilton points on sale for 0.5 cents right now through the end of the year, December 31st. Looking at the DoubleTree Resort in Fiji, it would cost you 40,000 points. That's $200 worth of points, or 629 Fijian dollars. Which is the equivalent of $271 per night. So the points are $200. The cash rate is $271. If you're going to be going to a Hilton and you know you're going to a Hilton, check the math, because the points are still, I mean, almost every single one, because the deal is with Hilton, you do get that 5th night free again. Pretty much most of them, except for Hyatt, are going to give you free nights if you're using points. They're going to be refundable. There's almost no reason to pay a cash rate at any of these brands.
Yeah, and if you have status at some of these, which we have a whole nother video here on the channel on the fast track for getting status to all these different brands. And also, you could get meals on top of that. If you have lounge access, you would get food. Some hotels, like at Hyatt, if you have Globalist, you're getting your breakfast. So just know that you're also going to be getting some perks if you have good status, a high status with these brands as well. We do have links in the description to some of the cards as well that will help you to get that. Some of them come with the status, like one like Hilton comes with the highest status right out of the gate. It's the easiest one to get the highest status. And let me tell you, that really pays off. We have gotten tons of perks, including a suite upgrade at the Conrad in Tokyo, overlooking the bay during Golden Week. My mind was blown by that, only because we have the card.
Yeah, exactly. And I do want to mention too, we did just throw up some new tools and resources for members of the channel, which is all of our spreadsheets that we use in our travel. One of them is how we track all the hotels we've booked, and it keeps track of all the different nights we have at each brand to see how close we are to getting status. Another one is a credit card tracker that shows us which credit card we should be using in any situation to earn the maximum points. So if you want access to those, become a member of this channel and you will have access. If you're already a member and you didn't know it, you can log in, go check those out, download them. They're already there for you. So hopefully that will be helpful to you as well.
That's right. So guys, if you have any questions left after all that, you can leave those for us down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, got some good information, give us a like and consider subscribing to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.